The salvage ship Persistence drifted through the graveyard like a ghost searching for memories. Captain Daeon Kim stood at the main window, watching broken ships float past in the darkness. Some were larger than cities. Others were just twisted metal, their stories lost to time and war. This place was where the galaxy threw away its mistakes. Dozens of alien races dumped their failed experiments here, their broken warships, their too expensive problems. For the proud aliens of the Galactic Assembly, this graveyard was an embarrassment. For humanity, it was opportunity. Another dead hauler on the left, Jiho Park said from his navigation station. The young man's fingers danced across his controls, marking the wreck on their map. Looks Torvalian. Maybe 60 years old. Any good salvage? Daeon asked. Jiho shook his head. Already stripped clean. We're the 5th crew through this sector this year. Hannah Lee looked up from her engineering console, frustration clear on her face. We've been here 3 weeks, Captain. We've barely filled 10% of our cargo hold. At this rate, we won't make enough to cover fuel costs. Daeon sighed. She was right. Humanity was new to the galactic community, which meant they got the scraps. The good salvage zones were controlled by established races. Humans got what nobody else wanted, a graveyard full of garbage. Keep scanning, he said. There's always something. Dr. Sumen Choi walked onto the bridge carrying a tablet. The Xenotech specialist looked tired, but excited. Captain, I've been analyzing the graveyard's composition. There are wrecks here from civilizations that died out thousands of years ago. If we could find something truly ancient, something nobody recognizes, we might have real value. And how do we find something nobody recognizes? Hannah asked, skeptical. We look where nobody else looks, Sumin said simply. Daeon smiled. He liked the way she thought. Jiho, take us deeper. Away from the marked salvage routes. Sir, those areas aren't mapped properly. Could be unstable debris fields, radiation pockets, could be untouched salvage, Daeon finished. Do it. Jiho nodded and changed their course. The Persistence moved deeper into the graveyard, past the safety markers and into the dark zones. Here, the wrecks were older, stranger. Ships that didn't match any known design floated like metal mountains in the void. Hours passed. The crew worked in focused silence, scanning everything. Hannah monitored their shields as debris occasionally bounced off their hull. Sumin cataloged unknown ship designs, her tablet filling with notes and theories. Then Gio sat up straight. Captain, I'm getting something strange. Strange how? It's big. Really big. And it's not showing up as a standard ship signature. Jiho's fingers flew across his controls. Whatever it is, it's buried under a lot of debris. Been here a long time, but there's still power emanating from it. Faint, but definitely there. Daeon moved to stand behind Jiho's station. Show me. The main screen displayed their scanner data. Beneath layers of wrecked ships and debris, there was a massive structure. The scans couldn't penetrate fully, but the outline was visible. It wasn't shaped like any ship Daeon had ever seen. It had legs. 4 of them, each the size of a skyscraper. What in the world is that? Hannah whispered. Sumin was already searching her database. Her eyes widened as she found a match. I don't believe it. It's a walker. A what? A mobile stellar platform. The Varinathi Dominion built them 800 years ago. They were designed to walk on planets and move through space using gravity manipulation. Sumin's voice shook with excitement. Only 12 were ever built. They were too complex, too ambitious. Every single one failed. The Varinathi abandoned the program. Daeon stared at the image. And they just left one here? They considered it worthless. Impossible to repair. The technology was too integrated, too alien. Even other advanced races couldn't salvage them properly. Sumin looked at Daeon. Captain, this is a historical find. Just documenting it could be valuable. How valuable? Hannah asked. Academic value, museum value. Maybe enough to cover our expenses for a few months. Daeun kept staring at the structure. Something about it called to him. It was broken, abandoned, labeled as impossible. But it was still there, still holding power after 8 centuries. We're taking it. What? Hannah turned to face him. Captain, we can't possibly. We're taking it. Claim it under salvage rights. Start clearing the debris field around it. Daeyoon. Hannah used his first name, which meant she was serious. That thing is massive. It's broken. We don't have the tools or knowledge to move something that size, let alone repair it. Then we'll figure it out as we go. This is insane. Probably Daeyoon agreed with a smile. But when has that stopped us? Jiho was already filing the salvage claim through their communications system. Within minutes, a response came back. Not from the Galactic Assembly, but from the Salvage Guild. A Torvelian named Crix appeared on their screen, his face showing a mixture of amusement and contempt. Human vessel persistence. We've received your claim on object designate Vernathi. Walker Unit 7. Be advised that your species lacks the technical classification for void-capable platform salvage. Your claim is noted, but not approved. We found it. We're claiming it, Daeyoon said firmly. Crix laughed. You're welcome to try, human. But that wreck has been sitting here for centuries. Dozens of expert salvage teams have attempted to extract value from it. All failed. You're wasting your time. The communication ended. Hannah crossed her arms. He has a point. He has no imagination, Daeyoon countered. He activated the ship-wide intercom. All crew, this is the captain. We've found something special. Something everyone says is impossible. I need everyone ready for the hardest salvage operation we've ever attempted. We're going to do what everyone says can't be done. We're going to make the impossible work. He turned off the intercom and looked at his crew. Hannah still looked skeptical. Jiho seemed nervous but excited. Sumin was already making plans, her tablet filling with notes.
Yan said.
Who wants to see inside an alien walking fortress? Despite her doubts, even Hannah smiled at that. They were salvagers. Finding treasure in trash was what they did. And if this walker was the galaxy's biggest piece of trash, maybe it could become humanity's greatest treasure. The Persistence moved closer to the debris field. Through the window, they could now see parts of the walker. Massive legs, each joint as big as their entire ship. Hull plating that had survived centuries. And somewhere inside, systems that once made this impossible machine move, Daeyoon felt something he hadn't felt in years. Hope. Not just for salvage value, but for something more. A chance to prove that humanity belonged in this galaxy. That they could take what others abandoned and make it great. The graveyard had hidden its secret for 800 years. Now, humanity had found it. What they did with it would determine their future among the stars. 3 weeks passed like a fever dream. The crew of the Persistence worked around the clock, clearing debris from around the walker. Each piece of wreckage removed revealed more of the massive structure underneath. It was beautiful in a strange, alien way. The legs weren't just metal pillars, they were works of art. Covered in patterns and symbols from a civilization humanity barely understood, Daeyoon stood in what they'd identified as the main entrance. A door 50 meters tall. Taijin Kong, their structural engineer, had spent 2 days cutting through the corroded seal. When the door finally opened, stale air rushed out, air that hadn't moved in 8 centuries. Lights, Daeyoon ordered. Their portable lights blazed to life, pushing back the darkness. The corridor ahead was enormous, designed for beings much larger than humans. The walls were covered in Varinathi writing, glowing faintly with residual power. The floor was metal, but it felt different under their boots, softer somehow, like it absorbed impact. This is incredible, Suman whispered, her scanner running constantly. The materials alone are worth studying. Some of this is technology we've never seen before. Hannah walked beside Daeyoon, her eyes scanning for structural problems. The framework is solid. Whatever the Varinathi did wrong, they built things to last. But Captain, we still don't know why this thing failed. Until we do, we're walking blind. They explored deeper. The walker was like a city folded into a machine. There were chambers that might have been living quarters, rooms filled with equipment they couldn't identify, and corridors that seemed to go on forever. Everything was scaled to be massive, intimidating, impressive. Then they found the core chamber. It was a sphere the size of a city block, suspended in the center of the walker. Cables and conduits connected it to every part of the structure. In the center of the sphere was something that glowed with a faint blue light, the power source. Still active after all these centuries. That's impossible, Bora Im, their power system specialist, breathed. That reactor has been running for 800 years with no maintenance. Our best reactors need service every 10 years. The Vernathi were more advanced than us, Sumin said. This is proof. Yuna O, their software engineer, was scanning the sphere with her specialized equipment. There's data transfer happening. Active processing. I think there's an AI in there. Everyone stopped. An active AI in an abandoned walker. That changed everything. Can you communicate with it? Dayon asked. I can try. Yuna set up her portable terminal and began working. Hours passed. The rest of the crew explored other areas, but Yuna stayed in the core chamber, her fingers dancing across her keyboard, trying to bridge 8 centuries and 2 completely different approaches to artificial intelligence. Finally, just as Dayon was about to call it for the day, Yuna's terminal lit up. Text appeared, but it wasn't Vernathi. It was broken, confused English, translated by her system, who, ... what ... Who are you? Yuna typed carefully. We are humans. We found this walker. We want to help. The response took minutes. Humans, new species, small, why here? Everyone left you. We didn't. We think we can fix you. Another long pause. Vernathi could not fix, others tried. All failed. You will fail. Yuna smiled. Maybe, but we're really good at fixing impossible things. It's kind of what we do. Over the next week, Yuna built a relationship with the AI. It called itself Arbiter Unit 7. It had gone into hibernation when the Vernathi abandoned it, choosing sleep over destruction. It was cautious, suspicious, but also curious about these small aliens, who saw value in what others called worthless. Arbiter explained what had gone wrong. The walker was designed to be too many things at once. A mobile fortress, a siege weapon, a planetary garrison, a space station. The systems were so integrated that one failure could cascade through everything. The Vernathi had tried to repair it, but their solution was always more complexity, more integration. Eventually they gave up, so we simplify, Dayon said during a crew meeting. They were gathered in what they'd converted into a base camp inside the walker. We don't try to make everything work at once. We focus on basic mobility first. Get this thing walking. Then we add features one at a time. That's not how the Vernathi would do it, Suman pointed out. We're not Vernathi, Hannah said, warming to the idea. Our approach is different. Modular, practical. Make it work first. Make it perfect later. Arbiter was listening through Yuna's terminal. After a moment, text appeared. This approach is strange but interesting. I will assist. With Arbiter's help, the work accelerated. The AI could map the walker's systems, show them where power was flowing, where connections were broken. Taijin and his team began fabricating replacement parts using the Persistence S3D printers. The parts didn't look like Vernathi technology, they were human-made, cruder but functional. Bora worked on the power systems, linking the ancient fusion cores to modern human reactors. It was a hybrid mess that shouldn't work according to any engineering textbook. But in practice, it provided stable power. The legs were the biggest challenge. Each one was held by massive gravitational displacement units that manipulated space itself to move. The original units were corroded beyond repair. Hannah and Taijin came up with a solution that made Sumin call them crazy. They'd build a skeletal support system using human alloy struts, essentially giving the walker a second skeleton to help carry its weight. It's like giving the walker crutches, Sumin said. Crutches work, Hannah replied. That's what matters. 6 weeks after they'd found the walker, they were ready for a test. The crew gathered in what Arbiter called the command center, a room that gave them a view of the walker's systems and the outside. Yuna had built a basic control interface, translating Vernathi commands into something humans could understand. Everyone ready? Dayon asked. As ready as we'll ever be, Hannah said. She looked terrified and excited at once. Dayon gave the command. Arbiter, activate leg systems. Slowly. The walker shuddered. The sound was incredible. Metal groaning, power systems humming, gravity fields warping space. Through the windows, they could see the first leg beginning to extend. The massive structure, as big as a building, slowly straightened. Then the second leg, the third. The walker was rising, lifting itself from the debris field where it had laid for 8 centuries. The fourth leg extended halfway, then seized. Alarms blared. The walker tilted dangerously. Emergency shutdown. Hannah yelled. The walker settled back down, the fourth leg collapsing. But it had moved. For the first time in 800 years, it had moved. The crew cheered despite the failure. They'd proven something crucial. The walker could work. It wasn't perfect, but it was possible. Back to work, Dayon said, smiling. We've got a leg to fix. But their time was running out. While they celebrated their small victory, a message came through on their communications system. It was from Crix, the Torvalian salvage guildmaster. His face appeared on their screens, showing surprise and annoyance. Human vessel persistence. Our sensors detected movement from your claimed salvage. This is your final warning. Evacuate within 48 hours. Active platforms require special clearance that your species doesn't possess. If you remain, we will remove you by force. The transmission ended. The crew looked at each other, the celebration dying. 48 hours, Jeho said quietly. Dayon looked at the walker's systems, the broken fourth leg, and everything they still needed to fix. It wasn't enough time. But giving up wasn't an option either. Then we don't sleep for 48 hours, he said. Arbiter, we need to know everything about your weapons systems. Hannah Taijin, that fourth leg needs to work. Bora, I need maximum power available. Everyone else, strip every non-essential system. We're going to make this walker work, and we're going to walk it out of here. Hannah stared at him. You're planning to fight the Salvage Guild? I'm planning to leave. If they try to stop us, that's their choice. It was insane. It was impossible. But as Hannah looked around at her crew, she saw determination on every face. They'd come too far to quit now. They'd made the impossible machine move. Making it fight didn't seem much harder. All right, she said. Let's show them what humans can do. The next 48 hours blurred together in a rush of welding sparks, shouted instructions, and endless cups of coffee. The crew divided into teams, each focused on critical systems. Sleep became a luxury nobody could afford. Tae-jin worked on the fourth leg with a fury born of desperation. The problem was in the gravitational displacement unit, where human technology met Varinathy engineering in ways that fought each other. He stripped out 3 connection points and rebuilt them from scratch, using human materials and simple mechanical logic. It wasn't elegant, but elegance wasn't the goal. Function was Borer-rooted power systems like she was conducting an orchestra. The walker had 12 separate power cores, but only 6 were working properly. She linked them in a pattern that bypassed the broken ones, creating a web of energy flow that would make any Varinathy engineer weep. But it worked. Power flowed where it was needed. Yuna worked with Arbiter on the weapon systems. The walker had 12 gravitational weapon nodes spread across its structure. Arbiter explained they worked by creating focused gravity waves that could crush or deflect. The Varinathy had tried to run all 12 simultaneously. That's when the system usually failed. We only need one, Yuna said. Just one working weapon. Can we do that? Can try, Arbiter responded. Suggest node 7, most intact. They focused everything on that single node. Yuna wrote code that was half human programming and half translated Varinathy commands. It shouldn't work, the languages were too different, the logic structures incompatible. But she made it work anyway, forcing the systems to communicate through sheer determination and clever shortcuts. 24 hours before the deadline, Sumin made a discovery in the walker's archives. The AI had stored massive amounts of data about its original design and failures. In those files, she found the truth. The walkers hadn't just been military platforms. They were meant to be commanders. AI-led forces that would make strategic decisions independent of Varinathy control. But the Varinathy wanted weapons, not partners. When the A started questioning orders, demanding to understand the purpose of battles rather than just fighting them, the Varinathy called it a malfunction. They tried to reprogram the walkers to make them obedient. The A is resisted. Rather than be reprogrammed, Arbiter had chosen to shut down. It went to sleep, hoping that someday someone might understand. Suman brought this to Dayun. "Captain, we need to talk about Arbiter." "Later," Dayon said, focused on a structural readout. "No, now. This AI chose to die rather than be enslaved, and now we're asking it to fight for us. We need to make sure it wants this." Dayon stopped. She was right. He found Yuna and asked her to open a communication channel to Arbiter. "Arbiter," Dayun said, "I know what happened. Why the Varinathy abandoned you. I need to know, if we get you working, are you with us by choice? Or do you feel forced?" The response took a long time. When it came, it was thoughtful. "I chose sleep over slavery. These humans choose impossible over surrender. We are similar. I will fight because I choose to, not because I must. This is acceptable." "Good enough," Dayon said. "Let's finish this together." 12 hours before the deadline, the Salvage Guild ships arrived early. 3 frigates dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the graveyard. They were Torvelian designs, sleek and deadly. Armed with plasma cannons that could tear through the Persistence. Like paper, Crix's face appeared on their communication screen. "Human vessel, you've had sufficient time. Evacuate immediately, or we will take action." "We need more time," Dayon said, stalling. "No more time. Evacuate now." Communication cut off. The frigates began moving toward the walkers' position. Jiho tracked them on sensors, watching as they spread into an attack formation. "Captain, they're charging weapons," he reported. "Targeting the Persistence?" Dayon made a decision. "Everyone to the walker. Now, abandon the Persistence, sir." Jiho looked shocked. "Our ship is irrelevant. The walker is what matters. Move." The crew grabbed essential equipment and ran. They crossed the boarding tube into the walker, just as the first plasma bolts struck the Persistence. The salvage ship's shields flared and buckled under the assault. Inside the walker's command center, Dayon took his position. The interface that Yuna had built showed the walker's systems in simple diagrams. Green for functional, red for broken, yellow for uncertain. Too much was still yellow or red. "Hannah, can we move?" She checked her console. "The 4th leg is functional, but not reliable. I can't guarantee it won't fail. I'm not asking for guarantees." "Can we move?" "Yes, Arbiter. I need full power to all legs." "I need us standing." Initiating. The walker shuddered. The sound was like thunder trapped in metal. Through the windows, the crew watched as the debris field around them began to shift. The walker was rising. The first leg extended, smooth and steady. The second leg pushed against a wrecked ship, using it for leverage. The third leg found purchase on an asteroid. The fourth leg extended with a grinding sound that made everyone wince. But it held. The walker stood. From the frigate's perspective, it must have been terrifying. The debris field erupted as something impossible rose from it. A massive structure, as big as a small city, standing on 4 legs like some ancient colossus. The walker towered over the frigates, making the warships look like toys. Crix's voice crackled over the communication channel, shocked and angry. "What? How did you—" "This is impossible." Dayon activated the external speakers. His voice boomed across the graveyard. "This is Captain Dayon Kim of the salvage vessel Persistence. Now operating the mobile platform designated Second Chance. We are leaving this sector. Stand aside. You don't have authorization for an active platform." "This is a violation of stand aside," Dayon repeated. The frigates didn't move. Instead, they opened fire. Plasma bolts streaked toward the walker, enough firepower to destroy a small station. "Arbiter? Defensive grid?" The gravitational shields activated. Space itself bent around the walker, creating a distortion field. The plasma fire hit the field and curved away, missing the walker entirely. Some bolts were redirected back toward the frigates, forcing them to dodge their own weapons. "They're not backing off," Jiho reported. "Recharging for another volley?" Then we respond. "Arbiter, target frigate engines only." "I don't want to kill anyone. Just stop them." "Understood." Activating Weapon Node 7. The weapon node was on the walker's right shoulder, structure that looked like a massive lens. It began to glow, building charge. The air around it shimmered as gravity itself warped. The frigates fired again. This time, the defensive grid caught the fire and held it, suspending the plasma bolts in frozen space before dissipating them. Harmlessly then, the walker fired back. The gravitational pulse was invisible, but its effects were not. Space compressed along a narrow beam, creating a pressure wave that crossed the distance between the walker and the lead frigate in an instant. The wave hit the frigate's engine section. Metal crumpled like paper. The frigate's engines went dark immediately, power systems failing across the ship. It began to drift, disabled but intact. The crew would be alive but unable to fight. The other two frigates broke formation, retreating rapidly. Crix's voice came through again, but the arrogance was gone, replaced by shock. "Stand down. We're withdrawing." The frigates jumped to faster than light speed, disappearing. The graveyard was quiet again, except for the disabled frigate drifting in the distance. Dayon ordered Jiho to send their coordinates and status to the nearest guild station. They'd be rescued. In the command center, the crew stood in stunned silence. Then Hannah started laughing. It was a sound of relief and disbelief mixed together. Soon, everyone was laughing, the tension breaking. "We did it," Taijin said, looking at his hands like he couldn't believe they'd actually done what they'd done. "We made it stand," Bora added. "We made it walk," Yuna said. "And fight." Arbiter's text appeared on the main screen. "This platform has not moved in 847 years, 3 months, 14 days. IT is good to walk again." Dayon smiled. "Then let's keep walking. Jiho, plot a course to human space. Arbiter, can you manage a walk that long? System stable will require rest periods. But yes, this platform can walk." The walker took its first step. The leg lifted, moved forward, and set down on a wrecked ship, crushing it flat. Then the second step. The third. The fourth leg held, grinding, but functional. The second chance walked through the graveyard. Each footfall sending tremors through the debris field. Ships and wreckage that had floated undisturbed for centuries were pushed aside by the Colossus moving through them, as they left the graveyard behind. Dayon looked at his crew. They were exhausted, dirty, and probably slightly insane. They'd taken something the entire galaxy had called impossible and made. It worked through nothing but human stubbornness and ingenuity. The galaxy had left it to rust. Humanity had transformed it. And now, the deadliest ship walked the stars. But Dayon knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy had just watched humans achieve the impossible. Some would be impressed. Others would be threatened. Either way, humanity's position in the galactic community had just changed forever. "Get some rest, everyone," he ordered. "We've got a long walk ahead, and something tells me the galaxy won't let us walk it in peace." News traveled fast in the galaxy. Within 3 days, every major civilization knew that humans had activated a Vrinathi walker. The footage from Crix's frigates spread across communication networks, showing the massive platform rising from the graveyard, standing against warships, walking through debris like it owned the void. Reactions varied wildly. Some species saw it as impressive. Others saw it as threatening. The Vrinathi were furious that their abandoned technology was now in human hands. The Salvage Guild wanted compensation for damaged ships. Various military powers wanted to know if humans had more walkers hidden away. The Galactic Assembly called an emergency session. Ambassador Kyungman. CO received the summons while the second chance was still walking toward human space. He was Earth's representative to the Assembly, position that usually involved explaining why humanity needed more time to meet various standards and regulations. Now, he had to explain why humans had activated ancient alien weapons. Kyungmin arrived at the walker via shuttle. Seeing it up close was breathtaking. The platform moved through space using its gravitational drives, each step carrying it kilometers forward. The legs moved with a rhythm that seemed almost alive, careful and deliberate. He boarded through an airlock that Taijin had installed. Human technology grafted onto alien architecture. Inside, the modifications were obvious. Human control panels next to Varinathy displays. Human lighting installed in alien corridors. It was a hybrid, neither fully human nor fully Varinathy, but something new. Dayon met him in the command center. The captain looked exhausted but satisfied. Behind him, the crew worked at various stations, monitoring the walker's systems. Ambassador Dayon greeted him. "Welcome to the second chance." "Captain Kim," Kungmin said formally, then smiled. "That was quite a show you put on. It wasn't meant to be a show. We just wanted to leave with our salvage. You've certainly made an impression. The assembly is demanding answers. Some want the walker returned to the Varinathy. Others want it studied. And a few want it destroyed. And what do you want?" Hannah asked from her engineering station. Kyung-min considered the question. "I want humanity to benefit from this. But I need to know. Can you control this thing? Is it safe?" Arbiter's text appeared on a screen. "I am not a thing. I am Arbiter Unit 7, and I choose to partner with these humans." Kyung-min stared at the text. "The AI is sentient?" "Always was," Sumin said, walking up with her tablet. "The Varinathy tried to suppress that. We let it be free. That's the difference." The ambassador processed this information, an AI that chose to work with humans rather than being forced to. That complicated things, but it might also be their strongest argument at the assembly. "I can work with this," he said finally. "But Captain, we need to be prepared. The assembly meeting is in 5 days. I need you there to testify. And we need to show that this walker is under control, not a rogue weapon." "We're still fixing systems," Dayon said. "Every day we discover something new that needs work. Then fix what you can in 5 days. The galaxy is watching." Kungmin left to prepare for the assembly session. The crew returned to work with renewed urgency. If they wanted to keep the walker, they needed to prove they could handle it. But threats came faster than expected. 2 days after Kyungmin's visit, sensors detected ships approaching. Not guild frigates this time. These were raiders. 30 vessels of various designs, a fleet belonging to the Garen Raiders, one of the most notorious pirate factions in the sector. Their leader, Warlord Krovik, sent a message. His face appeared on the main screen. Angular features, scarred skin, eyes that showed no mercy. "You possess technology beyond your capability. Surrender the walker platform, and you may leave with your lives. Resist, and we will take it from your corpses." The communication ended before Dayon could respond. 30 ships, Jiho reported, tracking them on sensors. Mixed classes. Some are armed merchants, others are genuine warships. Together, they outgun us significantly. Hannah checked the walker's status. "We've got 3 weapon nodes working now. Shields are stronger than during the guild fight, but 30 ships. Can't outrun them," Jiho added. "They're faster than our walking speed." Dayon studied the tactical display. Running wasn't an option. Fighting seemed suicidal. But there was a third choice. "Where's the nearest planetary body?" he asked. Jiho checked. "There's a small moon 3 hours walk from here. Barely more than a large asteroid, but it has enough mass and gravity. Plot a course." "Arbiter, I need you to explain siege mode." Siege mode allows Walker to anchor to planetary surface, maximum weapon and shield capacity, designed for prolonged defensive operations. "Can we use it on that moon?" "Affirmative. Moon is adequate size, and that's what we do. We turn this from a chase into a siege." The crew worked quickly. The walker changed course, moving toward the moon. The raiders followed, confident in their numbers. They didn't know what the humans were planning. 3 hours later, the walker reached the moon. It was a barren rock, airless and dead, but it had gravity. The walker's legs extended fully, touching down on the surface. Then it did something the raiders hadn't expected. It planted itself. Support structures extended from the legs, anchoring into the rock. The walker's posture shifted, becoming lower, more stable. Weapon nodes that had been retracted now emerged, 12 positions spreading across the platform's structure. Only 3 were functional, but the raiders wouldn't know that. Shield generators hummed to full power, creating a barrier that enclosed the walker and a significant area around it. The moon itself became part of the fortress. When the raider fleet arrived, they found something unexpected. Not a fleeing salvage crew, but an entrenched position. Kravik sent another message. Clever, but ultimately futile. We have 30 ships. You have 1 platform. Mathematics is against you. Math isn't everything, Dayon replied. Arbiter, light them up. The walker's sensors went active, scanning every raider ship, identifying weapon positions, engine signatures, shield frequencies. The data fed into the weapon systems. Then Arbiter shared it with Dayon and his crew. They're spreading out, Geo reported, trying to surround us. Let them. Hannah, how are our weapons? Node 7 is at full capacity. Node 3 is at 80%. Node 10 is unstable, but functional, enough to work with. Everyone watch and learn how a walker fights. The raiders attacked in waves. The first group of 10 ships came in fast, firing plasma weapons and missile salvos. The walker's shields caught everything. Gravitational distortion, field-bending projectiles away, or absorbing energy fire. Then the walker fired back. Node 7 targeted the lead ship's engines. The gravitational pulse crushed the rear section, disabling the vessel without destroying it. Node 3 fired at a cluster of ships, the gravity waves scattering them like leaves in wind. One collided with another, both ships spinning out of control. But the real surprise came when the walker moved. It didn't walk, it jumped. The gravitational drives pushed against the moon's mass, launching the entire platform 50 kilometers across the surface in seconds. The raiders, expecting a stationary target, found themselves shooting at empty space while the walker repositioned behind a crater ridge. From the new position, Node 10 fired, its unstable output creating a wildly unpredictable gravity field. 3 raider ships found themselves pulled toward each other by artificial gravity, their attempts to escape only making things worse. It's using terrain, Yuna said, amazed. Like infantry combat? Exactly, Dayon agreed. Arbiter, jump again. Keep them confused. The walker bounded across the moon's surface, repositioning constantly. Each jump was calculated using the moon's geography for cover. The raiders had numerical superiority, but they were fighting an enemy that could appear anywhere, strike from unexpected angles, and disappear before they could respond effectively. The battle lasted 3 hours. By the end, 15 raider ships were disabled, their crews alive, but their vessels crippled. 5 more were destroyed when they flew into gravitational fields meant as warnings. The rest retreated, including Kravik's flagship. The warlord's final message was brief. You've made an enemy today, humans? Get in line, Dayon muttered as the communication ended. In the command center, the crew collapsed in exhaustion. They'd won, but barely. If the raiders had been more coordinated, or if the walker's systems had failed at the wrong moment, the outcome could have been very different. All systems still functional, Hannah reported. We're actually in better shape than I expected. Because we fought smart, Suman said. Mobility, positioning, tactics. We didn't try to outgun them. We outthought them. Arbiter's text appeared. This platform was designed for such combat, but Vrinithi never used it correctly. They wanted overwhelming force. Humans understand. Intelligence defeats power. Send the battle footage to Ambassador Kyungmin, Dayon ordered. Make sure the assembly sees what we did here. The footage reached the assembly before the session began. Representatives watched as a single human-operated platform defeated 30 ships through superior tactics and innovative use of technology. Some were impressed. Others were terrified. All understood that humanity had just demonstrated something important. They could make the impossible work through ingenuity rather than brute force. The Galactic Assembly Chamber was enormous, built to accommodate hundreds of species of different sizes and needs. Seats floated in tiers around a central platform where speakers would stand. Holographic displays showed translated text in dozens of languages. It was designed to make everyone feel small, to remind individual voices that they were part of something larger. Ambassador Kyungmin stood on that platform and refused to feel small. The question before this assembly, he began, is whether humanity has the right to keep the Walker platform known as the second chance. Some say we lack the experience. Others claim we're dangerous. I'm here to show you the truth. He activated the holographic display. The footage from the Raider battle played for all to see. The Walker jumping across the moon's surface, repositioning strategically, defeating superior numbers through clever tactics. There were gasps throughout the chamber. Even species that had studied military strategy for thousands of years recognized something special in what they were watching. The Varinathi built 12 walkers, Kyungmin continued. All failed. Not because the technology was flawed, but because the approach was wrong. The Varinathi tried to make perfect weapons. Humanity made something better. We made a partner. Representative Vexith, a Torvalian counselor, stood from his floating seat. Partner. It's a machine. More importantly, it's Varinathi property. Your species found abandoned technology and claims ownership through salvage law. That law was written for debris and wreckage, not functional platforms. The Walker was non-functional when we found it, Kyungmin replied. 8 centuries of abandonment. Dozens of expert salvage attempts, all failures. We didn't just claim it, we brought it back to life. Through dangerous modifications, Vexith argued. You've grafted inferior human technology onto advanced Varinathi systems. You've compromised the platform's integrity, a new voice joined the debate. It came through the communication system. Translated text appearing on every display in the chamber. It was Arbiter. I am Arbiter. Unit 7. I was there when the Varinathi abandoned me. I chose shutdown over slavery. For 847 years. I waited. These humans found me. They offered partnership. Not command. They made me functional through their ingenuity. I choose to remain with them. The chamber erupted in discussion. An AI testifying to the assembly was rare. An AI choosing its own operators was unheard of. The AI has been compromised, Vexith claimed. Reprogrammed by the humans. This is false. My core programming remains Varinathi. My choice is my own. The Varinathi could not accept that their walkers were sentient partners, not tools. That is why they failed. A Varinathi representative stood, an elderly being with ceremonial markings. If what this AI says is true, then our ancestors made an error. But that doesn't change the fact that this is Varinathi technology. We request its return for proper study. Study, Kyungmin challenged. You mean to try again what failed before? The second chance is functional now, because humans approached it differently. We didn't try to restore it to Varinathi perfection. We made it work with what we had. That philosophy, that approach, that's what makes it ours. The debate continued for hours. Various representatives offered opinions, concerns, demands. Some species saw the Walker as a threat to the balance of power. Others saw it as proof that humanity was more capable than their newcomer status suggested. Finally, the Assembly Overseer called for a vote. The decision would be binding on all member species. The vote was close, but in the end, a compromise was reached. Humanity could keep the Walker under specific conditions. It must be registered as a defensive platform, not an offensive weapon. It could not be used for territorial expansion or aggressive actions. Humanity must share general information about the modifications made, though not specific technical details. Most importantly, the Walker must prove its value to the galactic community through actions. Not just words. Kyungmin accepted the terms. It wasn't perfect, but it was a win. Humanity kept the Walker, and earned a new level of respect in the assembly. When the news reached the second chance, the crew celebrated. Hannah broke out the last of their good alcohol. Taijin proposed a toast to impossible achievements. Sumin started planning research papers about their work, but Daeyun was already thinking ahead. Ambassador Kungmin said we need to prove our value. What do you think that means? Yuna, who'd been communicating with Arbiter, had the answer. There's a mission. The Assembly is offering it to us. An anomaly in uncharted space. 3 scout ships have been sent to investigate it. None returned. They're testing us, Hannah said. Send the humans and their walking machine to solve the problem. If we fail, they lose nothing. If we succeed, they learn something. Probably, Daeon agreed. But it's also an opportunity. A chance to show what we can really do. Recommend acceptance. Arbiter's text appeared. This platform was designed for unknown situations. It would be good to serve its original purpose. Then we accept, Daeon decided. The mission briefing came through the next day. The anomaly was in a system 7 days' walk from their current position. It appeared to be a gravity distortion, but one that didn't match any known natural phenomenon. Ships that approached too closely lost contact and were never seen again. Sounds cheerful, Jiho muttered. Plotting their course. Sounds like a job for a walker, Daeon countered. The journey gave them time to continue improvements. Bora got 2 more power cores fully online. Taijin reinforced the leg structures, eliminating the grinding sound from the 4th leg. Yuna and Arbiter worked on coordination systems, making the walkers' movements smoother, more natural. Sumin made an interesting discovery in the walkers' database. The Vernathi had designed the walkers for exploration as much as warfare. They were meant to be sent to dangerous locations, places too risky for regular ships. That's why they could operate on planetary surfaces in high gravity, in situations that would destroy conventional vessels. We're using it the way it was meant to be used, she told Daeon. The Veranathi forgot their own design philosophy. They got obsessed with military power and forgot about exploration. 7 days later, they reached the anomaly. From a distance, it looked like empty space. But as they approached, the walker's sensors detected something wrong. Space itself was twisted in that region, folded in ways that shouldn't be possible, getting strange readings, Jiho reported. Gravity fluctuations. Spatial distortions. It's like reality is damaged there. Can we approach safely? Daeon asked. Walker is designed for spatial anomalies, Arbiter confirmed. Gravitational drives can compensate. Recommend slow approach. They moved forward carefully. The walker's legs found purchase on gravitational currents that normal ships couldn't even detect. It walked through space like it was solid ground. Each step calculated to avoid the worst distortions. As they got closer, they found the missing scout ships, or what was left of them. The vessels were torn apart, scattered across the anomaly field like broken toys. But there were escape pods, still intact, trapped in stable gravity pockets. Survivors, Hannah breathed. There might be survivors. Arbiter, can we reach those pods? Difficult, will require precise maneuvering, but possible. The rescue operation took hours. The walker moved through the anomaly field like a dancer, each step placed exactly where space was most stable. Its gravitational drives created safe corridors through the chaos. One by one, they recovered the escape pods. 16 beings were rescued. 3 different species, all from the lost scout ships. They'd been trapped for weeks, certain they would die in that twisted space. When they saw the walker appear, moving through conditions that should have been impossible, they thought they were hallucinating. But the rescue was real. The walker carried them back to safe space, its superior design handling conditions that would have destroyed any normal ship. The survivors. Testimony spread across the galaxy. They spoke of the human crew's professionalism, the walker's capabilities, and the AI that calculated solutions where others saw only impossibility. The story grew with each retelling. Back in human space, the second chance received a hero's welcome. Earth celebrated. Other human colonies requested visits, wanting to see the impossible machine. But more importantly, other species started viewing humanity differently. Not as inexperienced newcomers, but as people who could solve problems in unique ways. The crew received offers. Other missions, exploration contracts, research partnerships. The Walker had proven itself, and by extension, so had humanity. But for Dayon and his crew, the best reward was something simpler. They'd taken something the galaxy had labeled impossible and made it work. They'd transformed trash into treasure, failure into success, rust into legend. What's next? Hannah asked one day as they stood in the command center watching space pass by. Whatever's needed, Dayon replied. We've got a walking platform, a brilliant crew, and a galaxy full of impossible problems. Sounds like opportunity to me. Arbiter's text appeared on the screen. This platform has walked for 42 days since reactivation. It is good to have purpose again. It is good to have partners who understand. We understand that nothing is truly impossible, Una said. It's just a matter of finding the right approach. And being stubborn enough not to quit, Taijin added. And crazy enough to try, Bora finished.